Right guys, bad boy Jenvey here again, the devil himself. Yeah, I work for God though, so don't worry. I work for God, and if you're a bad guy and you go down to hell, that's your own fault. Don't blame the devil for that, that's your own fault. You got to be good, be a good person, be nice to people, and after death you go to heaven. Yeah, that's how it works. It's pretty simple really. I don't know how you mess it up, to be honest. But anyway, what we're going to talk about first, well, as I always say, put your money in Wisdomtree CRUD. If you're a monkey man, you won't know to have your money in Wisdomtree CRUD unless you've been listening to me. I put Wisdomtree CRUD on the screen. It's very important because, as far as I'm aware, your reptilian rulers, which is the Pope in Rome, the German royals, the British royals, and the American royals, which is the Rockefeller family, they're all planning on sending oil prices through the roof eventually. Going to cause hyperinflation of food prices. So to protect yourself, you need to link your money to the price of crude oil. And the way to do it, Wisdomtree CRUD. Okay? So that's what you need to do first. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to have some more reptilian footage. We're going to look at some, slow-mo footage on YouTube of famous reptilians. The first of which, Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson. The video we're going to look at of Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson is a famous 90s song, Scream. Scream, Michael Jackson, official video. We haven't actually got it in high definition, it's in 480p, but it doesn't actually matter. We're going to put it on slow-mo, so playback speed normal, we're whacking on a slow-mo, and straight out the gate at 3 minutes 12 in, we can see Michael Jackson's head shaped very oddly. Look at these odd shapes. See these odd shapes on his face. Why is his face making this odd shape at 3:12 in the Scream Michael Jackson video? Because Michael Jackson is a reptilian shapeshifter. The next one is Janet Jackson. We're going to go to, on the same video, the Scream video by Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson. We're going to go to 121. We're actually on 120 at the minute. Play the video. Michael Jackson walks off, well, he walks up a wall. Right, so now we're looking at Janet Jackson's eyes. We're at 122. Janet Jackson's eyes, they're reptilian. You actually see the reptilian eyes. She shows you them. You can see them in the video. They're slits, vertical slits. They're reptilian. You also see in a minute, you see Michael Jackson's face shape shifting just a tiny bit there. You see that? Just on the side there. And then I think there is, on this bit here, Michael Jackson's face, it's hard to see. It's like there's something going on with his face back there. If you look close, it's hard. That one's really hard to see, but it's all at the 1-2-1 stage. You got to go 1-2-1. Obviously, again, as I always say, you've got to have it in the slow-mo. We haven't got it in high definition. You don't actually need it. But yeah, and I think, do you see reptile eyes in this? No, I think her eyes are normal now. So anyway, that's that one. So yeah, Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson, reptilian shapeshifters. All your famous pop stars are, really. They run the world. Well, the pop stars don't run the world, but reptilians run the world. The monkey man doesn't know about it. You've been kept in the dark for a long time. Now, the next person we're going to look at is Noel Gallagher. I'm a big fan of his music. Oasis, they're a great band. Noel Gallagher, again, reptilian shapeshifter. And we've also got a bonus reptilian in Jeremy Paxman. We see Jeremy Paxman is a Reptilian shapeshifter. If you don't know who he is, he's a famous BBC broadcaster. If you live in the UK, you'll probably know who he is, but if you live outside the UK, who's Jeremy Paxman? Well, he's famous in the UK, so he's just a bonus one, okay? Noel Gallagher. The video is, all in my videos I show you on YouTube, easy to access. When Noel Gallagher went to Downing Street's Cool Britannia, again, we haven't got it in high definition, but you don't actually need it. We're at 0.51 seconds. It's quite clear in a minute that Noel Gallagher is a reptilian. We see it very clearly. Play the video. You look at these ridges here. Play it again. See them ridges? Those ridges are very unusual. You wouldn't really get that on a monkey man. Look at how pronounced they are. He almost looks like a Klingon of Star Trek. It's so deep, these ridges. The next bit we're going to see in the same video, we're going to fast forward to 147. We're going to see Jeremy Paxman. What we're going to do, well, we're actually at 144 there. Jeremy Paxman, famous BBC broadcaster. We're going to look at this section of his head. We need it on the slow-mo. Put it on the slow-mo. We're going to watch this section of his head very closely at 144. Happens around then. Let's play it. Watching his head. Let's go. You see this odd shape. It's almost like hexagonal almost. It's this weird shape in his head. Really bizarre. You see how pronounced it is. And then it zooms out. Why did that happen? Because Jeremy Paxman is a reptilian shapeshifter and his disguise was slipping a little bit. There's a bonus reptilian for you. We're going to have a look at another one of Noel Gallagher. We're going to have two of Noel Gallagher just to really prove to you that Noel Gallagher, great rock star that he is actually a reptilian shapeshifter. Oh, and by the way, that video was the channel Loved Up. So when Noel Gallagher went to Downing Street, Cool Britannia, Loved Up. Yeah. The next video of Noel Gallagher is simply called Noel Gallagher. You search for it though, because the channel is Alessandro Lima. You see the channel name. So when you search for it, just search Noel Gallagher and then put Alessandro Lima. I've actually got a bracket there. I didn't need that bracket, but yeah, that's what you do. Now we're going to go to, in this video, it's quite a long video. It's over an hour long. We're going to go to 38 minutes, 30 seconds. I'm at 38:28 there, 38:28. I've got it again, slow-mo, normal, slow-mo, yeah. And you start to see a very odd shape on Noel Gallagher's forehead, because he's a reptilian shapeshifter. So play it forward. Now we're going to watch his head here. It already looks odd. There's this big divot, almost like a hole into his head. The reptilian shapeshift is letting him down a bit, because the reason is probably because he's under quite a bit of pressure. He's giving a live performance. He's trying to sing his heart out. He's playing the guitar. And yeah, he's just under some pressure in this video, and the shapeshift is beginning to break up a little bit. So we'll play it. You just see that odd, weird look on his forehead. It looks really strange. That massive hole in his head, really not. That's not normal. That's reptilian. Reptilian disguise malfunctioning. Because he's trying to give a good performance, and then it begins to disappear. You see it disappears. Yeah. That's what often happens. One of the reasons, I mean, I love music. One of the reasons I look at the pop stars quite a bit is when they're trying to give a good performance, they're trying to sing, they're trying to dance, they're trying to play the guitar, whatever they're trying to do, that's when you often see that disguise begin to slip. And obviously a lot of these musical performers like Gallagher, Britney Spears, Timberlake, Justin Timberlake, they're very, very famous. They're household names. So you know who they are. Do you know what I mean? They're good ones to use, because that's when you often see the slip, when they're trying to give a good performance. They've got a lot to think about, and that's when the disguise begins to malfunction a little bit. Something else I want to say, I love music so much that I've actually done a tribute song to Noel Gallagher. It's a song I'd like to give to Liam Gallagher and share the songwriting royalties with him. I've actually written a song, and it is about Noel Gallagher. It's about his life and how well he's done. And I think Liam Gallagher would like to sing this song. So, and obviously Liam Gallagher will be a Reptilian shapeshifter as well. Of course he is, because his brother's Noel Gallagher. So, yeah, I'm going to play the song now.
Noel Gallagher, you're the one from Burnage, Manchester, but you were not the one on the footy pitch. When you tried to play, you were fucking shit. And so it was, you had to learn to play the guitar if you ever wanted to leave Burnage, Manchester. Noel Gallagher, singer-songwriter extraordinaire, came up for nothing in Burnage, Manchester. Not good looking or athletic, and oh yeah, very dyslexic. Even though he looks like Lady Penelope's driver, the one by the name of Parker, he managed to go so far, just singing and strumming his guitar. Hats off to Noel Gallagher. Noel Gallagher, you're the one who could now sing and play guitar, but you were not the one the girls liked very much. It was your brother Liam they all wanted to feel and touch. And so it was, you had to have me in your band, unless you wanted to stay on the dole and in quicksand. Noel Gallagher, singer-songwriter extraordinaire, came up for nothing in Burnage, Manchester. Not good looking or athletic, and oh yeah, very dyslexic. Even though he looks like Lady Penelope's driver, the one by the name of Parker, he managed to go so far, just singing and strumming his guitar. Hats off to Noel Gallagher. Noel Gallagher, you're now a big time rock and roll star, but it always pissed you off how I did well too like you. You thought I had it too easy. Well, fuck you, because it was my voice, my attitude and my cool that sold your songs and won us all the gongs. Noel Gallagher, singer-songwriter extraordinaire, came up for nothing in Burnage, Manchester. Not good looking or athletic, and oh yeah, very dyslexic. Even though he looks like Lady Penelope's driver, the one by the name of Parker, he managed to go so far, just singing and strumming his guitar. Hats off to Noel Gallagher. Noel Gallagher, we sadly long since stopped speaking for two brothers who did so well. It seems a tragic thing that you acted like a weakling. But anyway, here's to both our futures, because I know God both really truly loves us. Noel Gallagher, singer-songwriter extraordinaire, came up from nothing in Burnage, Manchester. Not good looking or athletic, and oh yeah, very dyslexic. Even though he looks like Lady Penelope's driver, the one by the name of Parker, he managed to go so far, just singing and strumming his guitar. Hats off to Noel Gallagher, still couldn't have done it without his younger brother.
Hopefully you like that song about Noel Gallagher, and hopefully Liam Gallagher likes it too, because he's the one who I'd like. He's the ideal person to be singing that song, and he's currently teamed up with John Squire. And so who's John Squire? Well, he's a great guitarist. He's actually one of my favourite guitarists. He was the guitarist for Stone Roses, brilliant bands. Check them out if you haven't heard them already. And yeah, Liam Gallagher, great singer, is working with a great guitarist now in John Squire. Now you may have noticed on my rendition of the song, I was actually playing guitar on it. I've recently gone and bought a guitar, Squire, Fender Squire. There it is. I've got an amp as well. Little Marshall amp, small amp. Yeah, Bad Boy Jenvey, Satan, is not a bad guitarist. I'm okay, all right? I'm okay at guitar. And at the end of this video, I'm going to do a little tutorial on how to learn guitar. It's basically learn guitar with Satan. I'm going to teach newbie guitarists, beginners, kids and older guys how I like to play guitar and how I like to keep it very simple, and give them some little tips and tricks on how to become a better guitar player. Okay, so I'm going to do that at the end of the video. What am I going to talk about first though? Well, what I'm going to talk about now is I'm going to talk about how we've got these greys who want to work with us. The reptilian rulers, they don't want to come out and admit that firstly they're reptilians. They keep hiding. All the reptilians are hiding, trying to pretend, oh no, you haven't discovered us, have you? Yeah, you've been discovered. You've been had. We know all about the reptilians now. If you've been watching Bad Boy Jenvey's channel, we know all about the reptilians. So it's pretty pointless to stay in hiding, reptilians. And I'm talking to average reptilians right now. But I'm also talking to the reptilian rulers. You've got a situation with the British royal family. 2 people in that family have got cancer. King Charles has got cancer. And now Kate Windsor has got cancer. The Duchess of Cambridge. Now, that's a bit of a funny coincidence, isn't it? And the reason is because God is a bit pissed off that the British royal family isn't working with Bad Boy Jenvey. I'm obviously here working for God to do good work. You know, it's my job to torture you in hell, yes, but it's you who put yourself in hell. And it's my job for God to torture you really fucking bad. Do you understand? That's how it works. Now down there with the Romans, the ancient Romans, psycho hard men, putting you on crosses, torturing you the fuck up, and making you really, really fucking suffer. And if you don't believe hell's real, just listen to that borehole in Russia. Just listen to them fucking screams when they dug down. They dug 7.5 miles down, or was it 7.6, I'm not sure, but they dug down, right, and they heard the screams of hell. Because guess what? Hell's real. And I'm the guy that tortures you down there for God, on God's orders. And God's getting pissed off with the royal family, the British royals. They're getting pissed off with the Pope. He's getting pissed off with them all, German royals, and the Rockefeller family. Because they're all keeping quiet, they're not saying anything. Humanity needs to progress now into the stars. We've got the Greys who want to work with us. They've got all the space tech we need. They've got all the interstellar travel stuff that you need to go into the stars. And the British Royals aren't doing anything. When I'm literally up the road in Birmingham, UK, I'm literally up the road from London. And they ain't doing anything. And that's pissing God off. And now you see King Charles, he got the cancer first. Now Kate Middleton's got it. And God's looking at Prince William and saying, come on, ain't you going to fucking work with me, you bitch? Because obviously he's reptilian as well, they're all reptilian. Ain't you going to come work with me? I've been sent here by God to do a job. To get us into the stars, kicking ass basically, and getting new Earths. The Greys need us as their foot soldiers, We all need to work together as a team to get new Earths, to get more natural resources, to get more land, because this planet's overpopulated. Whereas their answer, the reptilian rulers' answer, is, oh, let's just starve a shitload of people to death on this Earth and reduce the population on this Earth, rather than just getting new Earths. Some of you might die having to fight for those Earths. It's a pretty tough galaxy, and it's a tough universe, but that's just how it is, you know. You're in a test at the moment. This is a test by God, testing your electromagnetic soul, trying to find out whether you're a good person that belongs in heaven or a bad person that belongs in hell, or kind of in between, and you need some time in the void to try and grow up a little bit. You know, purgatory. It's purgatory in Catholicism. That's how it fucking works. God's getting pissed off with these British royals. Yeah? So let's see what William does. You know, because his wife's got cancer now. His father's got cancer. His wife's got cancer. Let's see if he does anything. God's getting pissed off with him. Anyway, what are we going to do now? Learn guitar with Satan. Alright guys, firstly, can the devil play the guitar? Of course he can, because he's a bad motherfucker, so I'll prove that to you. Okay, so I can play the guitar. Am I a good guitarist? I'm okay. I'm not great, but I'm going to help you out, because this is something coming from God now. God feels, I'll just turn my amp off. God feels that the standard of music at the minute isn't very good, because, like pop music, it's not that great at the moment compared to previous decades, like the 60s and maybe the 70s. And the only reason is because the guitar hasn't been taught properly. So I've shown you I can play guitar a bit. I'm working for God now, remember? I'm working for God. This is important stuff. So you're going to say, what, guitar hasn't been taught properly? No, it hasn't. It's been overcomplicated. I'm going to really, really simplify it for you. For all the kids out there who want to learn guitar, and maybe older people as well. I'm going to do more than one lesson. This is the first lesson. And just make guitar as simple as possible, so that it's not any harder to play than the Xbox. I've got an Xbox. I have actually got an Xbox down there. Right? It's not much more difficult than that. At the moment, what's happening is kids want to get into the guitar. They get the guitar, they get the amp and that. And then they just can't. There's so much lingo and it's all confusing and they can't really understand what they're doing. And then what happens, they begin to look at their guitar, instead of just a fun thing to play with, like a toy, they begin to look at the guitar with dread. And that's something that's been to the terrible detriment of music itself. It's not the kids' fault, and you know, the newbie guitar player's fault. It's the teaching has been totally shit. So we're going to learn guitar in a very simple, very easy way. The first thing we need to do is learn what equipment we need. Okay, so here I've got an electric guitar. Now this is a Fender Squire guitar, a Fender Squire Stratocaster. Very good guitar, right? Really good guitar. Yet it only costs around 150 quid off Amazon. Now I'm left-handed, so if you're left-handed, you're going to need a left-handed version of that. That guitar there is probably one of the cheapest electric guitars you can get, 150 quid off Amazon. It's one of the cheapest electric guitars you can get. It's like really good quality. It's a great guitar. I really enjoy playing it. I've only got it recently. God's talked to me and said, look, come on, you've got to teach them guitar, Dave. You're okay at guitar. You're not great, but you're okay. So you do need, obviously, a guitar. What else do you need? You need a guitar pick. I've got one here. This is where I store it, just in there. So you need one of these. I've got a 1mm one. It's actually really good, this one. What's it called? Flow Dunlop USA. See that? It's 1mm. These guitar picks, they're only cheap, but they come in different thicknesses, and I think 1mm is about the right thickness. It's a nice stiff pick, and it just allows you to really hit them strings like with a nice degree of accuracy. But you might find that you like a different thickness pick. Just have to experiment with what you prefer. So that you need one of them as well. What else do you need? You need a guitar lead. I've got my little list here. You need a guitar lead. So you pick one of them up cheap, just plugs in to there, and it plugs into your amp. It says input on the amp. Now, I'm going to say in a minute, you don't actually need to buy an amp straight away. You can play the electric guitar without an amp. It won't make that great of a sound, but you can still play it like you would an acoustic guitar. So if you're short on money, right, and you think, well, I can only afford the guitar, I can't afford the amp as well. Just wait, don't buy the amp straight away, just save up. You don't need the amp straight away. You can play guitar, even the electric guitar, without an amp. So if you're short on funds, that might be a thing to do. The other thing, the strap, guitar strap. Got a nice leather strap there. Let's see that. That's actually optional as well, but it helps when you even when you sat down playing on a sofa or something. It helps to have the strap on so that you never actually drop the guitar. You don't want to drop the guitar on the floor, obviously. And then obviously if you want to play standing up, then you're going to need a strap. But it is kind of optional. But I'd probably think about getting one of them. They're not too expensive. It's the strap. Now, something you're definitely going to need is one of these. It's an electronic tuner. And this is the reason why you need the lead. So say, well, if I don't get the amp, Dave, at first, then I won't need the lead. You actually will, because you want to plug in your electronic tuner into the lead and into the guitar. It makes tuning the guitar a lot easier. I've never actually tuned a guitar without one of these in my life. I couldn't do it. Some guys can do it by ear. They can just hear with their ear and tune that way. But with this, it's really, really easy peasy. I got this 15 quid. It's about 15 quid off Amazon. So I think you do need one of these. And we're going to show, the first thing I'm going to try and teach you on the guitar is how to tune the guitar, because that's really important. You need to have the guitar in tune before, you know, you can really start progressing. But it's not hard to do with one of these. See what I've done here? I've plugged my electronic tuner into the guitar lead, and I've plugged the other end of the lead into the actual guitar, my Fender Squire Stratocaster. Yeah. So now what we need to do, turn on the electronic tuner. So we press the on button, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to strum string number 6. Now the way I remember the strings, I need to put it on a tripod really. The way I remember the strings, got 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm not holding this very well. Yeah, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. I remember the strings in terms of numbers. There are letters as well. I think the top one's E, 6E. But I just remember them 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll keep it simple, right? So I'll play the top string. I'm going to play the bass string here. And as you can see, it's actually in tune. It says 6E. See, it says 6E. I'll do it again. So I'm going to do it. Now it's going like that light's going green to say it's in tune. I've just recently tuned this guitar, but if it wasn't in tune, I need to twist this to the right position. Just experiment, twisting it one way, turn it the other, because you want it to, what you want that string to do is go like that green, and then you just work your way work the way down through the strings. So next you do 5, I think it's 5A. So let's try that one. See, that one's more or less in tune. I could maybe tune that up slightly. Just turn it a little bit. Try it again. Now you see I've done it the wrong way. So now I've turned it the wrong way. I need to turn it the other way. See if that helps. Oh, I've turned it up too much. It's a little bit too much. Tiny bit more. There we go. Got it eventually. See? So we've got string 5A right. String 5. So 6/5. So I could tune the rest of it, but I know it's more or less in tune. Okay? And that's how you do tuning your guitar. You just tune it all the way down. Get all the strings right. Now when you get a new guitar, you might need to tune it a little bit more often because the strings have to settle in. So, but you've got your electronic tuner to do it. It doesn't take very long. You'll be able to do it really quickly. Trust me. Right guys, now what we're going to learn now is rhythm guitar. But we're going to learn it Bad Boy Jenvey style. The style of the devil himself, Satan. Because at the moment, the way people are playing guitar in learning chords, rhythm guitar, is really difficult. Like what they've got you doing at the minute, you've got you doing all funny hand shapes. So this is E. You hear the string, because what's happening, I've got my fingers in the right place, but my fingers are quite chunky. I've got quite chunky fingers, and my fingers are hitting some of the strings, so I'm not getting a good sound. I'm not getting a good sound. Now I could spend all day trying to get my fingers in the right place, right? And I wouldn't get a good sound. This has got D. Here, see that? I'm not getting a good sound. Currently, when they teach you rhythm guitar, you've got to learn all these different hand positions, all these funny hand positions, and it's absolute misery. And even with all the best practice, if your fingers are chunky like mine, you're not going to get a good sound. Maybe you've got skinnier fingers like a little kid, you might get a better sound. But the thing is, you don't need to learn all these complicated hand positions. You need to think of a guitar neck as more like a keyboard or like a piano. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play a chord. Right? So what I've done there is I've just put this finger, my index finger, on the bottom 3 strings, press the bottom 3 strings, and I've strummed the bottom 3 strings. Or I could strum the bottom 4 strings. But I'm only pressing the bottom 3, yeah? And I can move that down the neck. I can move it all the way down here. I'm playing the bottom 4 strings. Or I could play the bottom 3. Or I could play all 6. I'm even using my middle finger to just push that index finger on a bit harder. So I'm using my middle finger there just to push with a bit more pressure. Now I can play the top 3 strings, 6, 5 and 4. This is giving me what I'm doing here. I can play anywhere down the neck. All I'm using is my index finger and maybe using my middle finger just to push on a bit harder. That's all I'm doing. And I'm getting different sounds. That's a chord. That's a chord. Bottom 3 strings. That's a chord. Now you could use your other finger, your ring finger, to do it. So I could go. Or I could use my middle finger. Play the bottom three, play the top three. That gives you a load of different sounds, just like piano keys or keyboard keys. So much easier than learning all these different complicated hand positions. You don't need to learn all that for the rhythm guitar. It just overcomplicates it. You can even make your own chords. I try to come up with my own ones. So here I'm using my ring finger to press the bottom three strings, and then my middle finger to press the fourth string on the next fret, and I'm just going to play the bottom four strings, and I can move that anywhere on the neck. That's making a different sound. One of my favourite guitar players, Kurt Cobain, he had a way of doing chords which I thought was really good, where he'd use his ring finger to bar a certain number of strings. Say bar just means hold the strings down, so he'd like press the bottom four strings with his ring finger, and then a fret away, so not that fret, the next fret on, he'd press the fifth string, so he's barring that, he's pressing that with his bottom four strings, right? Bottom four, it's a great chord. And then he'd press the, with his index finger, not that fret, the next one on, fifth string, and he'd play the bottom five strings. I use that chord all the time. We've got also power chords, they're easy. So you could play, with your index finger, you play the fifth string, right? String number five, remember it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, fifth string, and then jump a fret with your ring finger, play the fourth string, and just strum string 5 and 4. Or top three strings, so you've got the 6 as well. You can move that anywhere on the neck. Now we just mix these skills up. Now another power chord, index finger, top on the bass string, the top string 6, and then you've got your ring finger on 5, you jump a fret, so it's like that, you can see that. And then your little finger on the string below, string number 4. That's another one, you can position it down again. So then your little finger's on string 3. Just play around with it. There'll be tutorials on power chords, but not as hard as you think. Make the chords up yourself, try to come up with different sounds. But the basics are just use that index finger and just move it around the neck. You're playing chords there. I'm trying to simplify rhythm guitar so that you can then eventually get me and just mix it up, and then, throw in a few power chords. And it's just easy then, rather than all these funny hand positions they have you trying to learn. They're really difficult and they never sound that good, in my view, because your fingers end up hitting some of the wrong strings, or they deaden the sound of some of the strings. That's the common thing. You get this deadening sound. The fourth string's not playing, that's on D. Doesn't work. So there you go. What else can you do? Say you want to get a chord. You get one of your chords. Say you get a chord. You're just playing all 6 strings. You just strum through the notes. That sounds nice, doesn't it? You know, you just move it along. Just experiment with it, just practice basically, just mix it up. Okay, so that's my rhythm guitar lesson. I wasn't actually playing with an amp then, wasn't actually bothering. So this is without the amp, you can make quite a good sound. So when you first start, you don't necessarily need to buy the amp. So it's cheaper to get into playing guitar then. Get the amp later, you know. So that's rhythm guitar with Bad Boy Jenvey, Satan. Now, what a young kid who's learning guitar might say to me is, right, well, I'm going to use them chords you showed me, them simple chords that are very easy to play, to become good at rhythm guitar. You know, just practice mixing it all together. Then he's going to say, well, how do I learn songs? Like, how do I learn to play along to songs? How do I use my new rhythm guitar skills to play with songs? Well, it's actually very easy. The way Jimi Hendrix learned, he's one of the greatest guitarists of all time, and this is also the same for a lot of other great guitarists of yesteryear. They learn by playing along to the radio. So they just hear a song on the radio, they pick up their guitar, and they just improvise along to it, trying to come up with a nice, good rhythm section to the song that they're listening to on the radio. What you've got now is you've got YouTube. You've got loads of great pop songs on YouTube that actually have no guitar on them. And what you can do is just get your guitar, and with the skills I've showed you, just try and play along and try and make it sound good. Okay? Now the song we're going to use is Britney Spears' Piece of Me. We're going to play the song on YouTube, and we're just going to try and play along to it and just improvise, and we're obviously going to make stuff that sounds not that good, and then we're going to make stuff that does sound good, and we're just going to have fun. That's the way you learn to play songs. You know, you can memorise them. You can go and think, well, don't I need to memorise this guitar songs? Well, yeah, but that takes a long time. It's a lot of effort. You want to just, back in the days of Jimi Hendrix, you know, there weren't all these textbooks and all these things to confuse you. What he had to learn was just listening to the radio, picking his guitar up, strumming a few chords, and just trying to play along with it. And that's what we're going to do with Britney Spears. It's a good song to practice with because there's no guitar on it already, and it's quite a steady pace song. It's not too complicated of a song, and it's still a popular song. And you know, I think it's quite a good one to practice along to. Right, so what I'm first going to say is I haven't actually got the amp plugged in. Don't need it plugged in. So play Britney Spears, Piece of Me. I'm going to just try and play along with it. Just make it up, basically. Just going to practice. Set her up a bit. So that didn't sound good. So I'm using my ear to listen to her. Now it's better there. So it's better here. So I've figured out with this song, I've tested different things along the neck of the guitar and figuring out it sounds better around here. So if I keep playing around here, it should sound good. See what I've done there? I don't know if you could see what I was trying to do. I was basically listening to the song, listening to her lyrics, and then I was trying to, through trial and error, right, that doesn't sound good, that doesn't sound good, oh, that sounds all right. Just testing along the neck of the guitar where it sounded good, where the guitar sound fitted the song, so that then I can create a rhythm section for, you know, I can create rhythm guitar for that song that has no rhythm guitar on it. And I wasn't using the amp. It's often a good idea not to use the amp, because you know, test it first without the amp, and then after you've got it figured out, plug the amp in. It's often a lot easier to do that, because you get such a clean sound out of not using the amp. You know, if you're putting all effects in there and all stuff like that with the amp, it can confuse you a little bit. But that's a good way to learn how to add your guitar in, your newfound rhythm guitar skills to songs. Just using your ear and listening and trial and error, moving your hands up and around the neck, different places on the neck, till you get it right. Do you know what I mean? And another good thing you can use is your iPhone. So on your iPhone, there's actually, if you go on it, you might have Android, but you've got a voice memos. Now this is great, because this voice memos app, I'll just show you. On the iPhone, I'll just show you where it is. So on the iPhone, you go there, you've got voice memos. And I use this all the time. I use that all the time. It gives you a little recording studio, because you can record with your iPhone, and Android will have something similar, another voice recorder on it. You can record your guitar work to listen back to see how good it sounds with that Britney Spears Piece of Me. Do you understand what I mean? It's kind of like, it's your own little recording studio. So that's useful to use as well. Now, the last thing I'm going to teach you in this first guitar lesson, Learn Guitar with Satan, is your hands, whichever hand you use on the neck of the guitar. The hand you use on the neck of the guitar, for me it's my right hand because I'm a left-handed guitarist, is going to get very tired quickly, especially when you first start guitar. Your hand's going to get tired. You don't want to play for hours on end, because you're just going to wear your hand out. You also need to, through practice, only take a short period of time, callus the ends of your fingers. They're going to feel sore. When you first start playing guitar, the ends of your fingers are going to feel sore. And you just got to allow them a bit of time to callus. So don't over practice when you first begin. A lot of people, they wear the hand out, the hand's aching. Once your hand starts really aching, just leave it. Leave the guitar alone for a day or two, and then come back to it. And you'll find as well, your ends of your fingers will callus up. And they'll get harder, so they don't hurt as much when you're playing. So that's something to be aware of, because you know, don't overplay is what I'm saying. You're just going to wear this hand out and it's not going to be any fun. Yeah, so that's another little tip from Bad Boy Jenvey. And that's the end of the lesson, the end of the first lesson anyway, on how to improve your guitaring. I know we didn't talk about lead guitar, solos, all of that. We didn't get round to that, but that'll be in the next lesson. We'll talk about lead guitar, how to do solos, or whatever you want to call them. I call them noodles, guitar noodles, where you know, doing all the mad solos. We'll do that next lesson. All right, so that concludes this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.